So welcome to our webinar. I'm Mike Bundren of the iNLP Center, and our topic for today is therapeutic journaling. I am not an expert in therapeutic journaling, but we have Mari McCarthy here, who is an expert in therapeutic journaling. She's from this, her website is Create Right Now, W-R-I-T-E now, createrightnow.com. And she's written extensively on therapeutic journaling. And what is your book's name, Mari?
Journaling Power: How to Create the Happy, Healthy Life You Want to Live.
Perfect. Mari and I were talking earlier this week. I don't remember how we found each other, but I got her book and started journaling, and one thing led to another, and I wanted to talk to her and so on and so forth, because it's really, really great stuff. And I thought, well, why don't we just invite a bunch of other people to join in on the conversation and find out what we can learn about therapeutic journaling. So, Mari, before we really get into therapeutic journaling, do you mind telling us a little bit about sort of your story, how you got into it, and what it's done for you?
Certainly. It's been about 20-some years ago. I had an MS exacerbation, and I lost feeling on the right side of my body. So being a hard-driving businesswoman, I needed a procedure right away to teach me how to write with my left hand. So I was introduced to a book, and a lady by the name of Julia Cameron, who wrote the book The Artist's Way.
Mm-hmm.
And, in that, she recommends a procedure she calls morning pages. And the first thing you do every morning, as soon as you roll out of bed, is to write 3 pages of whatever, stream of consciousness, free writing, whatever, to help you, clear out the stuff, get ready for the day, all the above. And I thought, wow, that sounds like a no-brainer, and very easy for me to do. So I got into it, and it was very interesting. It was certainly started as physical therapy, but I got into things that I could never, memories of my childhood. I started writing poetry. I had never written poetry before, all kinds of fantastic things. And I just really uncovered that I've been carrying around all these thoughts, experiences, etc. from childhood. And I just kept going. And it was very, of course, scary, because you got into things, because you have this thought of who you are and what you're about and all that kind of stuff. And what you do the therapeutic, which is now therapeutic journaling, the pen to page every day, you get into places that you never ever imagined. So, and one of the things that I think is really interesting is I became left-handed very, very quickly. In the process of doing the morning pages, I remembered that I always was left-handed, and that the nuns at St. Bernard's Grade School changed me, because that was not what a good little Catholic girl is supposed to be doing. So it was like really revelatory, I guess is the word I want. And I just thought, and I just kept doing it. And I thought, wow, I need to share this with the world, and set up a company. And that's what I did. I set up Create Right Now, and that's what it's all about. Writing, as I call it, journaling for the health of it.
Journaling for the health of it. And so the difference that it's made in your own health was substantial, right?
Oh, definitely. It really helped me, since it helped me get into or get back to my true self, and recapture my power in that. It helped me make the decision to get off drugs. I was getting a weekly shot from a nurse that really knocked me out for 2 days afterwards. But one week she didn't come, and I thought, this, and feeling and not having my life, not losing 2 days of my life every week, shall I say. And I thought, and I attribute that to the fact that I had been journaling for about probably 2 or 3 years and just really got into, and had gone through the whole routine of dealing with doctors and the, the established medical experience. Like I said, it really, the journaling helped me reconnect with my heart and soul and my truth, and just find that, well, it's like, it doesn't make sense for me. I want a quality of life. And I called up my neurologist and said, thanks, doctor, been a great association, but no more drugs for this kid.
Wow. Wow. So in a way, the morning pages, which is, as I understand it, get up in the morning, open up your journal, old school style, pen and paper, right?
Absolutely.
And then just let the thoughts flow, whatever it is. Don't edit. Just write, whatever comes out. Is that basically what we're talking about when you talk about morning pages?
It's that easy. Absolutely. That's the, no, you don't have to do any preparation or anything. You just get there, you just show up and write.
And from what you described, it can take you deep into yourself and who you are, what you're really thinking, what you're really feeling, and that has a transforming effect. Just that process alone, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it's because we come into this world with everything, and then we have family life, parents, school, all these outside influences, and we're living our life externally, and we're not living our life from the inside out. So this gives us the opportunity to go back in and find out who really lives in our body, and find out that, oh my goodness, and really helps sort out our past and process things that we as children just internalize everything and misconstrued, and it's our fault and all that type of thing. But by going through the process of the writing, it somehow opens up those issues, those things, and you just really are able. It's really a therapeutic processing for you of, oh, that's what happened, or that to get the detail, and get down to the our heart and soul, and to find out, oh, I can see why I interpreted such and such or whatever. And it's like, okay, and then we realize that, Mike, we have a choice. It's like, okay, we can continue to keep playing those tapes and, oh yeah, woe is me, and all, or I'll say, oh, okay, that was then, this is now, and it's like, I choose to do something differently, or whatever. So it's just it's an unbelievably empowering experience.
Yeah, I think for me it has been too, just in terms of creating self-awareness. I mean, how can we choose to do something different about something that we're not aware of, right? So if I'm thinking a certain way, feeling a certain way, and it may be inspiring certain actions for me that I don't like, but I'm sort of not aware of really what's going on deeper on the inside. How can I make a choice about that, right? And so this is a way, what I have found, it's a way to get it out on paper. But when it's out on paper, you can look at it, right? And say, there it is. And sometimes I look at what I just wrote and went, it was no wonder I was feeling bad, or no wonder I was feeling a certain way. All of this stuff is churning inside me, and now it's not. I'm looking at it on the paper, and just getting it out is extremely helpful. And now that you're looking at it, what choices can you make, right?
Exactly. Yes. It's really, and it's an opportunity that we've never had to express what's really going on, because we've been so much taught and experienced that we think everything through. We have to stuff all our emotions down. All the things that we were taught, we've been literally carrying that around with us. But now we have the opportunity to really find out, to express it, and it's just even just the anger, the rage, and that. It's like, oh my goodness, yeah. And just the amazement that emotions are good.
Right.
They're part of who we are, and just like you say, that awareness of who we really are.
What if
Mike, we have a question.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
A good time to jump in? Thank
Yes.
you. Michelle has just ordered your book, Mari, just as a by the way, and Helen has a question. Hello, Mari. Thank you for sharing your experience. She's heard about therapeutic journaling a lot lately, and it was suggested that you write and then rip out the pages and throw them away each day as part of the healing. Do you throw yours away?
When I complete a journal, yes, I give it to my trash man. So it's an individual thing. Whatever, some people keep it for forever and refer back to it. Some put stickers and categorize it. It is a totally different thing. But to answer your question, yeah, that's what I do. And that's why I got into the habit when I was doing morning pages. And it's like, oh, I got that all out, and I felt I did what I needed to do. So that's why the trash man gets a present from me every month or so.
Thank you, Mari. Very happy with the answer.
Other questions at this point, Steve?
We'd like to know if it's done by hand, or can you, and I think the question means, do you actually write it physically, or can you type it?
Therapeutic journaling is pen to page every day. That's the guidelines, if you will, of therapeutic journaling, because therapeutic journaling is the ability to go way, way deep down into your heart, body, soul, and that's why it's pen to page. And there's just something, there's also the energetic, magical element. It's like the pen to page every day is the routine.
Okay, no more questions at this point.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mari, what if you're afraid to write because, one, you don't know what you're going to uncover if you kind of let it flow?
My suggestion is to just do it, to just take the risk and just go for it. Or you can have a dialogue with your journal. Ask that question to your journal. Journal, what do I do? I'm afraid of getting into doing this because of such and such. So because your journal is you can certainly ask the question, and then that's like, again, I find then just write whatever the journal's telling you.
I love it, because the journaling is to express what the morning pages express, what's on your thoughts and what you're feeling right now. And right now you're feeling afraid to journal. So journal that, right? I'm afraid to journal because I'm afraid of what I might discover here.
Right.
And then sort of go from there. I like that. I think also some of us are concerned that if we give energy or attention to the negativity that rests within us, that somehow it will make that negativity worse, that'll make it more real, that if like, oh gosh, if I give in and just write out all this negativity, it's going to make it true. What's your response to that?
No. Basically, again, it just gets back to it's an inner critic, head, monkey mind, whatever. That's that has held us for all these years. So and we're so used to processing everything. Oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to say that. I don't want to get it out. All that type of thing. So again, it's just old tapes. Stuff that's going through that. By getting it out there, you just find out that, oh my gosh, there is going to be a lot of fear, guilt, shame, negativity, whatever you want to call it. It's going to come out. But the thing is, that's the beauty of the journaling. You get it out, and then in time you'll get past it because you'll have released all that stuff. Yeah,
I find that to be true too. That acknowledging that you feel a certain way doesn't empower that negative feeling or what have you. It's sort of like, you know, you got a monster in your mind and you're scared to look at the monster because it might hurt you, but then you look at the monster and it's no big deal, right?
It isn't.
Once you look at it, right? It actually puts you in a position where you can deal with it, and avoiding it is what empowers it to run your life, right? So
Right, because that's exactly what we've been doing. We have been avoiding it, and we have been taught to, you know, oh, you can't be negative. You have to be a good little. All those messages and things are still in us. But by the journaling, it gets that out, and it's like, okay, you make space for your true self and feelings.
yeah. So this also sounds like it's sort of like meditation where, you know, the benefits accumulate over time, where you had a big breakthrough after 2 or 3 years of journaling and so forth. Does it have that, the effects build up over a period of time?
Absolutely. And the key is, that's why it's so important to be consistent. That's why the importance of doing it daily. And just really, it's really, you're giving a present to yourself that I'm first in my life. And it's just, so it definitely accumulates by, you know, by doing the routine, the self-care, the self-love routine to yourself. And it's like, and to me, and it's amazing because all kinds of things now come up. In fact, that's how I got the name for my company. It just showed up in my pages. I mean, and journaling for the health of it, you know, all those types of things. So again, it's just the whole thing about you know, how do you want to get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. That's why I say pen to page every day, and it's just like, just, you know, even if it's something that, you know, one of my clients said, well, I said, even if I have a crazy busy day, I always open my journal, and even if I just even say something like, you know, have a great day, I love you very much, just again, because you're just reinforcing that positive process.
Right.
Can I jump in again, Mike?
Yes, please.
Well, we have a question that's fairly closely related to what's being said, but we may be looking for just a bit of clarification.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How do you ever fall into self-condemnation, and how do you sort of make sure that doesn't happen? You talked about making the negative real. It's similar, but maybe there's a little bit more you can add.
Oh, certainly. Definitely, there'll be tons and tons and tons of time that you will be beating up on yourself, condemning yourself, because we are all masters of self-sabotage. And it's like the journaling gives you the opportunity to get all that stuff out, and don't be surprised or shocked that there's a whole lot of stuff in there. In fact, I look at my life at this point and say, oh my goodness, I can see how I made myself literally sick with, you know, MS or whatever else is going on in my body, because the way I treated myself. And we're just so comfortable, used to that, oh, I'm not this, I can't do that. All the negativity and all the things that, you know, our self-image by and large is pretty, you know, garbage. So to answer your question, yeah, there'll be a lot of condemnation. There'll be, you know, but get it out. You know, talk to yourself, yell and scream at yourself, do whatever. That is the important part. Is just getting through it and stay with it. And it's just like, oh, then you'll get to a point one day and say, oh, okay, that's, you know, that's the inner critic, or that's the whatever, or, you know, the old things that I need to make a plan to deal with this, because it's like it's ruining my life, or, you know, I need to make a choice and do something about how I can manage this, or you know, burn the page, or do whatever and move on. But it's, to answer your question, yes, there will be a lot of stuff, but the thing is, you gotta get it out.
I find too that the more I get out that kind of thing, the less that kind of thing intimidates me. And
True.
so I'm journaling whatever my inner critic is saying. And, years ago it was disturbing. Now it's more like, okay, this is what my inner critic is saying. I mean, I'm so used to just letting it flow through. It's not that I never get stuck or anything like that, but in general, I can just sit and listen to my inner critic and stay super stable and okay and not have it throw me off. And I think that's potentially one of the big benefits too. It's like if you say, okay, I'm not going to insist that the inner critic go away and not be here, but I'm going to channel it through my journaling. Before long, your inner critic won't really bother you because you're just used to listen. I mean, you sort of stabilize with it in a way. Do you find that's true?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm at the point now that because I call my inner critic Mike, my inner critic. But he also has more. He has a band of wary men.
Yeah.
But you're right. That's the process, and now it's one of these things that I feel hear something coming up or whatever, and it's like I give him the hairy eyeball, and he knows it's time to go out and play in traffic.
So it really changes your relationship to different parts of yourself, which to me may be the most empowering element of it. It's like there's no part of me that I'm afraid of now, kind of thing. When you get there, I think you're okay. It could be your inner critic goes away too, but the goal is if there's nothing in me that can throw me off, I've sort of I've achieved some sort of equilibrium with it all.
That's truth, and that's true health. It's like so rather than it overwhelming us or overpowering us, or and it's crazy stuff like fear, false evidence appearing real, all that kind of
Right.
and you can laugh about it now because it's like, oh, that's so crazy.
Right. Right.
Like a
So
question's been
yes,
asked,
Steve.
just a concern that while you're going through this process of journaling, something very deep and traumatic comes up unexpectedly. Is there a mechanism to cope with that and to manage that?
I guess that will happen, and I think it's the best thing to do is to take care of yourself in the process. Just not let it get you crazy or fearful or whatever. Just stay with it and just it's a good opportunity for you to breathe and to just have some very healthy, productive, loving conversations with yourself, and just go with it and take it easy.
Yeah, I would add to that too. If you are concerned, seriously concerned about something traumatic coming up while you're journaling, what I would do is create a kind of a plan for that contingency. In other words, it's sort of, make a little plan, even write it down, say, if I become traumatized while I'm journaling, I'm going to do immediately these 3 or 4 things. Like stop, take deep breaths, have someone that you can call or text or what have you for support. If you're in therapy, you know how to get a hold of your therapist or what have you. It's like if you have a simple bullet point list of 3 or 4 things you're going to do, should that happen, then at least you're somewhat prepared for it. And that might be another idea to add.
Well, that's a great idea.
Yeah. We good, Steve, on questions or more in the queue?
We do have a question that I've been sitting on. It's not related to the content that's going on now, so I'll hold that one off until the end, Mike, if you don't mind.
Okay. We've been talking about sort of morning pages and just journaling to get things out there. Are there more structured approaches that are worthwhile too for journaling? Like, you hear about journaling prompts and programs and so on and so forth that are sort of more of a guided journaling process. What do you think about all that, Mary?
That is what my company is all about. I have, if you go to createrightnow.com, I have probably in the neighborhood of about 360 journaling prompts, and they are not your mother's journaling prompts. It's not like. And I also have an Ask Your Journal bonus prompt when I post those up. Coming up will be Ask Your Journal, what's in this for me? So they're very deep, reflective type of things. So they're free. So they're certainly people always like to sometimes need to something to get them started. So you'll have a choice of as I say, about 365 journaling prompts. And also in my store, I have probably about 22 workbooks on different topics, from heal your life, love your body, money matters, things like that. So structure for people that have an issue or going through. Another one is on life transitions and things like that. So that provides structure to your process of how do I deal with this, or oh my gosh, relationships are driving me crazy, or in-laws, and we have one on 14 days to better relationships. So those are available because that's the hardest thing. You need some structure to what you're focusing on.
Yeah, absolutely. And are those is the morning pages thing? Is that sort of like you sit down in the morning and just stream of consciousness? Is that something you would do as a standard practice every day, and then sort of maybe add on some of these more guided programs?
Yes, that's my suggestion, and I go back and forth. Like one for a while, several months, I was doing ambidextrous morning pages. I would do one page left-handed, one page right-handed on one page, and then also during the day. I guess I'm probably considered an over-journaler. I journal during the day about anything and everything. I mean, if I have a meeting I'm getting ready for, I do one page of a stream of consciousness, or one page of journaling to help me. Okay, what are my goals? What do I want? All those types of things. And now I've gotten into pretty regularly doing what I call night notes. Before I go to bed, I do a page of just looking at, not rehashing the day, but taking a look at the learnings, the gratitudes, the ahas, the positive type thing, and I find that's very helpful in sleep.
Right, absolutely. I can especially see how sort of journaling around gratitude at night would just be wonderful for sleep. I've had that experience. Okay, cool. Steve, other questions? Bring in anything and everything at this point, Steve, if you've got more.
Okay, a question was asked about the 7 Days to Money Mastery book. I don't know where that reference is, probably something from the website. Just wondering what the book was about and who can benefit from it.
It's for anyone who has quote unquote money issues. And I don't know of anybody that doesn't have money issues. And it gets you into understanding where your, as I call it, issues in your tissues with money are, and getting back into where it comes from with childhood, the way you were raised, just your experiences. So it is for anyone that needs to understand what kind of a relationship do they have with money, and how do they need to to change that. Again, I think it's like Mike mentioned earlier about the fear thing. I just think money has just lorded itself over us for all these years. And so those 7 days to money mastery helps us understand where it's all coming from, and really choose to change our relationship with money.
Okay, excellent. We have another couple of questions. One going back to when we asked earlier, why write with a pen or a pencil? Is there a specific reason you don't keep an online journal or word processing app?
Well, there's nothing that says that you can't. It really depends on your intention and your goal. If you're comfortable, just really dealing with self-expression and some of the top level issues of the day, or that excuse me, that works well. But for to really reap the benefits of therapeutic journaling, it just needs to be a pen to page. There's just something, as in addition to all the scientific studies that are now occurring, there's just something mystical and magical about that process, and that's just based on my 20 years of experience of doing it.
Okay, there's another couple of questions we have. You mentioned that you've just got to get it out, and the question is, what do you think about replacing those negative thoughts with more positive ones? Do you think that system works, or do you think being an observer and just putting it out and coming up with solutions is sufficient?
I think that it's both. It's getting it out and being the observer and just seeing where that's coming from, what's going on, and then I think too, you need to then go make a concerted effort and an intention to. It's like, not going to go there. It's like, how do I? It's like I said with my night notes. I don't focus on what the issues were or the bad situations. I just focus on, okay, what was my learning even from a bad situation? And I think it's just a question of just doing it, and then really you're training your brain to really focus on the positive. So to answer your question, both to get it out and just really, okay, isn't that interesting? And trust me, that's one of the beauties of journaling. As you go through your day and you're taking a shower or whatever, something will appear. Oh, that's where that comes from, and that what you can do about it. Or else, boom, something will show up on Facebook, a book or a person or something like that. So I think that's you get a lot of benefits by, again, just being the observer, getting it out there, and then taking some time, and then making a concerted effort. Okay, I want to be and need to be positive, and just focus on, okay, that was an ugly situation that was really disastrous or whatever, but what was my learning?
Okay, excellent. And Mari, just letting you know, there's lots of really positive comments coming through the chat, people appreciating your content and your answers.
Well, thank you.
There was one other question here. Do you have to write for a certain amount of time?
No. The only thing that will give you the benefits is to do it daily. So it doesn't matter whether it's a page or 2 words, whatever. The key is to do it on a daily routine basis. That's where you get the bang for the buck.
Okay, there was a question here regarding, do you speak with your inner child while journaling?
Oh, definitely, all the time. Yes, I speak also with my my body, my body parts, and my pain and my my physical pain and my physical challenges and things like that. So definitely with the inner child, the inner critic, the body, the whatever. Yes, it's unbelievable.
Okay, going back to the how much do you write question, the follow-up question is that it's been suggested morning pages, morning pages up to 3 pages a day.
Mm-hmm. That was
So,
that's how Julia created it. It was like 3 pages every day.
but that isn't a rule. Or it is a rule.
No, that's her, her procedure, her method, or whatever. But with me, I'm of the right now. I do a page of morning pages each morning, and but I do that right before my meditation. So you can adapt it to however, and I'll use my favorite 4-letter F word, feels, whatever feels right for you.
Okay, Mike, I've exhausted the current list of questions.
Okay. We're going to start winding down a little bit now with a couple other a question and a request for Mary, and if other questions come in the meantime, that's great. So, Mary, just in terms of getting started, you've made it so simple, right? Which is start doing morning pages, stream of consciousness, and get a routine going. And could you tell us a little bit about your book and your website, and some people have already purchased the book and so forth, but for anyone who may be curious, tell us about your book and your website, if you would, as we wrap up.
Okay. My book is what I've created a new genre of book. It's called a self-help memoir, because I include is my own personal story of the challenges of dealing with MS, but then it also gives prompts and good practical things for people to then get into starting a journaling practice. So it's and also for those skeptics or people that need scientific information, I also have information about scientific studies that have been done, and it's interesting because they're now coming more and more, becoming more prevalent. For things like there's seeing people that have divorce, traumatic experience, grief, all types of things. So it's really becoming, it's not do. It's also, there's also scientific verification for, how it's helping us. So that's what my book is all about. And as far as my website, we're in process, and probably within the next couple of weeks, I'll be having a brand new website, and my store will be upgraded, and there'll be all kinds of fantastic free ebooks on dealing with stress, what therapeutic journaling is all about, and looking at problems that we all have, and how we can use beautiful things such as therapeutic journaling to help us realize that we have the power to create the life that we want to live, as opposed to the life that we're reacting to or dealing with. It's an opportunity to really get inside of who we are, and then just take the ball and run with it.
That's great.
Mary, question: when you're doing your writing, do you ever include drawings or doodles in your?
Oh, definitely, yes. Doodling, drawing, whatever, artwork. If you want to use colored pens and things like whatever. It's totally up to you. So it's to answer your question. Yes, all of the above. It's all about just putting the pen to the page, and what comes out is what comes out.
Steve, any other questions before we wrap?
A lot of really positive comments about the session this morning. A lot of people really keen to get started. Some are already doing it and have got new insights and motivation, but no more questions at this stage.
Wonderful. And for those of you who are not in Australia and wondering if you accidentally listening to a pre-recorded thing, Steve's in Australia where it is Friday morning, right, Steve?
Yes, that's correct.
And for others of us, maybe evening or wherever, the iNLP Center has students in 70 countries, and our fabulous trainer team, which includes Steve, is in I think 6 different countries. So I want to just thank everybody.
Before we close up, I forgot to mention my coupon.
Oh, please do.
Yes, anyone who would like to purchase any of my workbooks, if you go into my store at createrightnow.com, and when you're checking out, you enter SAVE 50, you'll get 50% off on all of purchases.
Great deal. Save 50 in the shopping cart at createrightnow.com. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mary, for taking some time to hang out with us. Super instructive and inspiring, and I know I'm more motivated to continue my journaling practice myself, which I learned from you.
Great.
And I hope the rest of you will as well. So we'll go ahead and wrap up now. Thanks again, Mary, and thanks for everybody for showing up, and thank you, Steve, for facilitating.
Great. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yep. Thanks. Take care.
Bye.